All right, let's talk to Reuben Frank. We love having Reuben on the program. Of course, one of our own here at WIP. Also does tremendous work at NBC Sports Philadelphia, and he joins us right now. Rube, good morning, pal.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, bud.
Hi, Rube.
So, Rube, I have been dying for about 2 weeks, let's say, to ask you this question. Because I have heard how critical you've been of Kevin Patullo. We've played the audio a number of times. And I've wondered why you put so much on the Patullo side of things and so much less on the Hurts side of things with what has gone wrong. Give us the ledger as you see it, and what you make of it.
Yeah, well, Jalen's had good games this year. I'm not sure Kevin has. I've been pretty critical of Jalen when he hasn't played well, and he hasn't the last few weeks. It's been it's kind of weird how inaccurate he's been, missing open guys. So I think there's plenty of blame to go around. I think certainly the O-line, and I don't think the O-line is all injuries. It's kind of an easy, they're just banged up. I think it goes beyond that. They just haven't played as well as last year, as previous years. So it's certainly not. Every time I'm critical of Kevin, I make it clear that it's not just him. There's a lot of issues here, and I certainly think Nick has a big role in it too. I think Nick gets off kind of easy because he's not calling the plays, but it's his offense that's not functioning here. So plenty of blame to go around.
So the problem with our offense, the problem with the run game, a lot of that, we look at the offensive line not opening holes, but there are questions about Saquon now. I don't see a deterioration in his ability. Do you, Reuben? I mean, are you seeing a step slower? Should we be worried?
I don't see that. I really don't. And I think we've seen signs of life. I thought the running game was doing some good things against the Bears, and they just gave up on it. And Saquon averaged like 4.3, which isn't like last year, but it's functional. And he only had 13 carries. I think 5 in the second half. So yeah. I think when the running game is showing signs of life, you got to stick with it. And I think on a cold, windy day, the pass run ratio is 34-13, and it just doesn't make sense. So I haven't given up on Saquon. I think he's done. He's looked a little better as the year's gone on, and I still think he's a good player. And
I do too.
I just don't think it makes sense to give him 13 carries on a day like we had last Friday.
And where, we've talked a lot about the blame game. Jeff Stoutland is the run game coordinator. Why has he been completely, absolved of guilt in this whole thing?
I guess because he's stout, and I don't think he's the issue. He's been functioning at such a high level for so long that it's hard to kind of, how much is him, how much is Nick, how much is Kevin. I think we've seen such a consistency in the product that Stout has put out for, under 3 head coaches. Going back to Chip. So it's kind of hard to be critical.
Reuben, if you were going to rank the reasons why the offense has struggled amongst these 3, I'm just curious how you would rank them.
Yeah,
Sirianni and Patullo as one entity. Mm-hmm. The offensive line as another. Jalen as a third. From most culpable to least, how would you rank those 3?
Well, I think the coaching is first. I think Jalen's second. I think O-line is third. They do get a little bit of a pass because,
injuries,
a lot of backups in there.
That's fair.
So, but I'm certainly not absolving Jalen. He's been uneven this year. A month ago he was in the MVP conversation, and this has been. There's been other years where he just hasn't played well down the stretch. I think the conditions have gotten to him. He plays well when it's. I guess that's every quarterback, but when the conditions start getting bad, he's just
hard
been
to throw in the
inaccurate.
wind.
So, Reuben, entering this year, I thought Jalen was a lock, 100% a lock, to be the Eagles' starting quarterback next year. I no longer think that. Do you think a change in the offseason is now a possibility?
It's interesting to think about, and I wouldn't say anything's a lock. I think it's close to a lock. I think it's hard not to, we've seen a very small sample size of Tanner McKee. It's intriguing to think about what he could do in a bigger role, in a starting role. I think he's a starting caliber quarterback in this league. I think that's pretty unlikely.
So
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Thank you. I think only here where the backup quarterback seems to get a lot more preference than anywhere else in America.
Right. I think
this is brought up.
People love the backup everywhere. I think that's just when the starter's struggling. And I mean, Jalen has had some pretty good stretches this year. It's not like he's been terrible.
Yeah. Reuben, to be fair though, to John's point,
he had a backup quarterback win the Super Bowl. I really do think that affects the way we think.
Well, I'll say this though: there have been times, 3 or 4 notable ones, when the backup quarterback has been better than the starter.
I mean,
Foles was better than what Carson became, and Hurts was
Carson in 17 though.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. What he became, like 18, Hurts was better than what Carson became. I mean, these are facts. Like, we've seen it; it has happened. So sometimes there's a passing of the torch.
So
I think the contract might preclude what you're saying, but it's fun to think about.
I would like to see. I would like to see him with a blue chip, up and coming offensive coordinator. I mean, or offensive assistant. Someone. Let's bring someone in who thinks differently than everyone else, who thinks creatively, who stops trying to have the organization's roster power defeat the enemy rather than scheme. That's what I'd like to see, so we could accurately weigh this whole conversation.
Well, let's get to this, Reuben. And by the way, it's 94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia as we broadcast today from the Tasty Cake studio on an Eagles game day, Eagles Chargers, Monday Night Football tonight. Reuben, do you think they use, let's call a simple offense because they think it's what suits Jalen best? And some say it's also because they think it's what Jalen specifically wants. Do you buy either of those two theories or both?
No, I don't buy that. I mean, Shane Steichen's the best play caller I've ever seen. I mean, Doug was really, really good, especially in 17. But I don't buy that. I think it's just really tough to have a different play caller every year, and Jalen's had that going back to high school. Yeah. I think Jalen is at a point where, I mean, he makes references to it. It's just really hard to function when you're with a different coach and a different offense every year, and this is not a good offense. And that's on Nick and Kevin. And I think Jalen has played pretty well considering the limitations that this offense presents.
Hey, Reuben,
I agree.
I want to play some audio for you, Saquon Barkley here, because this was said on Saturday.
Yeah.
And and I'm not ripping Saquon at all. He said what he believes, but it doesn't speak well to the team. What you're going to hear is some audio about the energy of the team on the sidelines during games. Let's listen to this, and then we'll react.
How do you think the energy has been on the sidelines? During games? Yeah. Honestly, I think it's been awful. I don't think that's piggybacks anybody, if they're being honest. In practice and walkthroughs and meetings, it's been great. Now we got to carry that to game day.
I mean, Reuben, it's unbelievable for an 8-4 team for one of the star players to say the energy on the sideline during games is awful. Was it awful or horrible? Help me remember. It's 30 seconds ago. Awful, right?
Awful.
Yeah, I mean, Reuben, awful. What in the world?
I noticed that in the Dallas game when Dallas was coming back and the Eagles were still winning. It was like 21-7, 21-14. The body language, the energy on the sideline, there was a palpable difference between the Eagles and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys had all the energy. They had all the confidence. They had the swagger. And they were losing. The Eagles are still up 21-7. And I wrote about that in my post-game observations. I thought that was really notable. And I think that's a real thing. And it took some guts to say that for him, but I've noticed that, and it's not good.
So Reuben, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
This sets itself up for if this Chargers team we're playing tonight gets their run game going. I mean, that absolutely deflates a defense, deflates a team like the Eagles. We know what that does. What are the odds that happens? I mean, they got Omarion Hampton back. They got Kamani Vidal also. We know that this coach wants to run the football, but their offensive line is about as banged up as ours. Who wins up front?
Yeah, it's a great question. And if I was facing the Eagles, I'd run it. I mean, obviously, no Jalen Carter.
Yes.
Doesn't help. So after giving up 281 yards at home to a good but not great Bears team, I'd certainly hammer the ball 45 times against the Eagles. And their secondary's good. And I think their D-line has been the most disappointing unit on the team. I mean, their edge rushers have 8.5 sacks in 12 games.
Wow.
I mean, that's insane. And 1.5 of them are from a guy who retired. Another one is from a guy who's on the practice squad. And another one's from a guy who hasn't played a defensive snap in a month. So, I mean, that group is supposed to be elite and carrying this defense, and they're not. And, yeah, I would attack them up front.
So, Jihad Campbell, he plays defensively tonight, or he does not?
Well, I think Vic, he said the other day when we talked to him, he should get him some reps, but it might be 6 to 8, because, I mean, it's a tough situation for him. He was playing well, and I thought he handled it beautifully. I thought we talked to him on whatever it was, Thursday. I thought he handled Friday. I thought he handled it really well. You go from playing 95% of the snaps to not getting off the bench. That's a tough deal for anybody, especially a first-round pick. But, you can't take Nakobe off the field. He's playing really well, and it's a dilemma. But I'd like to see him out there. There's really no playing time at edge for him right now with Nolan back and Jalen Phillips and BG here now. So,
and Hunt,
yeah. But those guys kind of have come in. So it's a tough situation. I'd like to see him play, at least 12 to 15 snaps just think he needs to play. He's a good player.
Rube, as you're talking 2 or 3 minutes ago, I was rifling through in my mind times when things felt kind of bleak and the Eagles put out a good game or at least salvaged the game and then took off. John in 03 and B. West, And listen, let me be very clear. These are usually examples when the Eagles' records are below 500. What makes this unique, this is an 8-14, but B. West in 03 versus the Giants up in the Meadowlands. The game when Foles in 2019 went out there against the Rams, 2018, went out there against the Rams. I remember, John, you and I did a pregame show in 2019. Things felt bad. Eagles were about to play the Bills. It was a young Josh Allen. And we all were like, oh, who cares today? This stinks. They stink. They won the game. They made the playoffs. I say those examples to ask you this, Reuben. Gut feeling. Do they pull it together, start playing better football? I'm not saying they got to win the Super Bowl, but are they going to make the city proud or not as you project the next month and beyond?
Well, let me ask you this. How many games have they played well this year on both sides of the ball?
1 or 2, maybe 3, but that's about the most. I mean, I can't remember them all, but it can't be more than 3.
And what was the last one? I mean, it's been a while, so it's hard for me to sit here and think they're just going to be able to flip a switch on the road against an 8-4 team that's got some guys coming back that's really well coached, that's tough and physical and runs the ball. I don't know how they turn it back on. Now, maybe they do. Like you said, there have been those moments, and look, they have a really talented team, but I just don't see it. I just don't see going out to L.A. and deciding that this is the time we're going to have energy on the sideline. This is the time we're going to call the game to keep the other team off balance with their defense. Wow. This is the time we're all of a sudden going to just start putting it all together. They haven't done it all year, other than against a Giants team that fired their coach 2 weeks later. So it's hard for me to imagine that they're going to turn it on, but they're certainly capable. My gut feeling is that they won't do it.
This defense, the Chargers defense, just overall, they are a stout defense, a stout challenge as far as you assess it, Reuben.
Yeah, they are. They're solid. I mean, they're a solid team. They're not a great team, but they're a really good team, and they're well coached. I think they have an advantage there.
I do too. That's a shame.
It is a shame. We'll see what their quarterback situation is, because that could be. That could be an advantage. We'll see.
Well, let's get to that, Reuben. So, final thing here: the Herbert injury in the left hand. For those that don't know, broken bone in the left hand. How big of an issue do you think that is for them to run the kind of plays they'd ordinarily run, but might not this time? John said last week he thinks they won't be under center because he probably won't be able to take a snap from under center. We were wondering earlier whether he'll be able to hand the ball off to a certain side using his left hand. Obviously, you'd think he's more likely to, have a strip sack go on. How big a factor do you think that is in this game?
Yeah, I think it's potentially a pretty big factor. I don't know how you grip the ball. When I don't know how much Teal. I don't know how strong his hand is. I mean, I have no idea, but yeah, I think it's an issue. If you can't grip the ball, of course, to get a strip sack, you got to get a sack first, which has been an issue for these guys. But it certainly puts them, at risk of losing the ball, and it's something that the Eagles have to try to take advantage of. It
is a really weird setup when you've got a quarterback who might not be able to take a snap under center, but you want to run the ball 45 times. That is a weird spot to be in, where you've got two backs who are rearing, ready to go, and really good, but you don't have many plays that you can run.
Well, I'd also add this. Teams are used to running from the gun, but normally with more running-oriented quarterbacks. And so that creates
and it's kind of predictable.
Yeah,
that's
you got
a back that's offset. You're limited to just a few plays.
And if Herbert's not going to run much, then
he's not the type.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Rube, great report, my man. I'll say I hope you enjoy the game tonight, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you, Reuben.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Good stuff. Reuben Frank, he's phenomenal.